Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's the Patch Notes. Hey, Scott.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, we're doing good here.
How goes things?
It's been pretty well. You know, we got the Mayans out.
Yeah.
They've been doing really well,
I feel
actually.
like we just did the Patch Notes like last week,
We did.
but it's already...
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks. It
It's
doesn't
been
feel
a-
like mine's been out for 2 weeks.
No, it does.
Well, technically they haven't been because the patch came out after, but yeah.
They've been a week.
It's been a little bit.
They've been doing pretty good. We got a couple new cards for them as well here. This is OB27. This is not going to be a bunch of fancy new features like we've been doing. It's just going to be a few new cards as well as some balance points.
Yep.
And then I think a little bit, you know, we'll spoil something at the end.
Yeah, I think kind of when we looked at this patch, we were kind of like, okay, well, how much content can we put in here to kind of help, one, the existing Pantheons as well as get some balance points out there. Like, everyone knows that Norse is really strong and they're kind of annoying to deal with right now, so we hit those concerns as well as adding a couple more cards in there to kind of spice things up.
Yep. First up, Venus Competitor Set Pack still on sale, 25% off. You can unlock over 75 cards with this, including just a slew of neutrals, really good neutrals. One of them being Chow Fang there.
I mean, not to mention Venus as a whole, right? Probably one of my favorite legendaries to play.
She's really fun.
Really frustrating to play against at times if you don't have an answer for it. But since it's 4 mana, it's good.
She made Discord good. Well,
She did.
That and Tenacity.
It was always the long-term plan was to make Discord
find something good with it. Let's check out some of the new cards, though. We're going to take a look at 3 new Mayan spells coming in OB27. First up is Anguish.
Yup. Really, when we looked at this, we wanted to give more Pantheons different ways to have a silence so not everyone was running Chaos Spawn. Anguish is kind of a perfect answer for that, but when you looked at this, so Anguish is a 1-mana spell, and it says silence a friendly unit and then silence an enemy unit. So obviously, if you guys have been playing the Mayan Pantheon, you know that the zombies have a passive that reads only has 1 movement. So when you silence them, they can actually move to up to 3 tiles, just like a standard melee unit.
And that's
so
also
just like a nice combo.
It's also going to set up potential combos with Raise the Dead. Now it's not just going to be 1 movement. You can have the full movement, so a lot more combos inside there. After that, we have Barter Soul. This is a common 2-mana spell. Kill a friendly unit and draw 2 non-zombies from your graveyard.
Now, this card is probably one of the strongest we have ever added. And in addition to that, it's also a lot of fun. So Austin specifically has been a huge proponent of let's make sure we do as many things from the grave as humanly possible. And there's a couple different states here with Barter Soul. So as you can see here, if you don't have any non-zombies in your grave, this card can't be played. If you only have 1 non-zombie in your grave, it'll have a green outline, and when you have 2 or more, it'll have the red outline. So, obviously, since 2 units are dead, in your graveyard, this counts spells as well as gods and units. So when he plays this card, after he kills a minion, he will be able to get those cards directly back. So this card not only fits in their curve well, it also really helps you get back Kukulkans and things along those lines.
And then we have 1 more new Mayan spell coming in, and this is Empower Dead. Rare, 3-mana spell. Your leader ability now deploys 2/2 zombies instead of 1/1.
Yeah, so really, I think a lot of people had a lot of fun with zombies as a whole. And doing anything with the leader ability is always super exciting. And when we have one that's global and these slow-moving zombies, I think it was always just a good avenue to say, okay, let's just buff up the zombies when you deploy them.
Now, question: this is not like a buff. This is a actual 2/2 zombie, so he cannot be silenced off of the
Correct.
extra.
This is a brand. These are considered brand new bots, for lack of a better word. So if you silence them, all that happens is that they gain 3 movement. You do not drop the 2/2, which is why you see the numbers in white here.
And that's it. So just 3 new spells coming to the Mayan Pantheon. Again, kind of all that synergy with the zombies, especially Anguish.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been like, I need something other
really
than
good.
Chaos Spawn.
Yeah, Anguish is just one of those necessary evils that we need to have in every single Pantheon. Now, granted, Chaos Spawn is just one of the greatest neutral units that we could possibly have in there. It's a 2/3 body with the Warcry of a Silence, so you're always going to use that. But Anguish gives you a little bit of flavor inside of the Mayan Pantheon.
And then Barter Soul as well. I just love.
It's
I
really
love
good.
the grave. I love the grave theme.
I think a lot of people can expect to see way more grave mechanics as we get in there. I still have my dream of clicking a button and seeing everything inside of my grave from the entire game. So,
and that's coming at some point.
At some point, it'll come. I'll make sure of it.
We'll get it.
If not, Austin will just scream at me every day.
No, I sit next to him now.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I got to hear it.
You get to hear Austin. I'm on the other side.
All right. We have 3 more cards coming, 2 Chinese and a neutral. And the first Chinese card is not actually a new one.
Nope.
It is actually Chang'e she's got a reworked passive and a little bit of a different stats. So first up, her stat line is no longer 0/5. It is a 1/4 stat line. And her new passive, now your spells cost 1 less mana.
Yeah, so Chang'e was one of those cards that was left over from way back in the day when we still had activated abilities, and her original design had where she healed adjacent friendlies, and then if you played Hu Yi, they did damage to enemies as well. So there was a lot of complication inside of that, and unfortunately, she still had the heal. And I remember one of the community members sent me a thing on Ask Gandhi, and they were just like, hey, what's kind of going on? I think it was that. It could have been the comment channel, where they were just like, hey, Chang'e doesn't fit this theme of the Pantheon at all. Are you guys going to be looking at reworking her? I was like, he's got a really good point. Like, that passive where you just heal adjacent friendlies would be really good in the Egyptian Pantheon, but not so much inside of the Chinese. And when you really looked at the Chinese Pantheon, it's all about playing spells and getting combos inside of that, as well as the beast synergy. So it just made sense to reduce the cost of spells.
Yeah, once the outside of your gods and your spells, all those cards moved to neutral, and the thematic style of the Pantheon started coming in, then it was kind of like, oh, this passive is great. Can we see a similar passive in Egypt?
Probably down the way, and also, this was kind of it took 2 patches to get this right, but this is why you saw Hu Yi in the last patch go down to a 3 mana and get stat adjustments, so we could slot Chang'e in that 4 mana slot, which they really needed.
And you can actually see another card here, Zhang Kui, but he's not up next. First, it's going to be Nemean Lion. Unless we want to show off the spell reduced cost.
Well, I think it already is.
Yeah,
so
we already see that.
You can see with the Crescent Blade, it's 0 mana. He added it to his hand. Obviously, he's not Chang'e, so it wouldn't be reduced to 0. Unholy Offering also 0. And that's just kind of it. We'll probably work to get effects onto the numbers of the mana crystals eventually, so you can see that it glows in green, so that it actually has been reduced. But right now, it just is going to update the text.
Okay, next up is an addition to the beast deck that I know Austin's happy about. Nemean Lion.
This is
rare 2 mana unit, melee 2/1, protect 1. Okay, Afterlife, give a random friendly unit protect 1.
This is probably one of the strongest 2-drops that we'll ever add into the game, but really you kind of got to back this one up a lot. And when we were first brainstorming the Nemean Lion, I remember thinking about the movie with Dwayne Johnson, Hercules, when he did his version of it, and oh, you can't pierce the skin, and I was like, man, it'd be really good as a 2-drop is protect 1 on a unit. And we started talking about it, and then Austin was like, well, the Nemean Lion, he wore that, so he wears the Nemean Lion skin, right? So he's got to give it to someone too. So it's kind of like we took a movie to form this thing together, and I think it turned out really, really well. But we can go ahead and see here. If you killed your own unit, which normally you wouldn't do, but protect 1 will go on to a random friendly.
Yeah, it's over on the zombie there on the side. So No, now 2/2 zombies with Protect 1.
2/2 zombies with Protect 1 inside of there. So this card, obviously, you know, we've seen a lot of beast decks. I've been a huge proponent of it inside of the Discord and saying Chinese beast deck is probably the fastest deck we got, as well as probably the most fun, in my opinion. But this card works very, very well inside of Egypt and also Norse because you get the Protect 1 inside of there.
And then the final new card coming this patch is the Demon Queller himself, Zhang Kui. A rare unit, 4 mana ranged, 2/4. Warcry, add a Demon Bag to your hand.
Yep.
So
let's go ahead and play the Zhonger, and we can go ahead and take a look at Demon Bag. So Demon Bag is not a collectible card. It normally costs 2 mana, I do believe, is the
being
cost
reduced
of it,
right now
and
by
it's being
Chang'e.
reduced by Chang'e. And so what Demon Bag says is Demon Bag says it deals 0 damage, and that this spell gains +1 damage for each unit that dies while Zhang Kui's in play. So obviously, they're all about playing spells and everything else, but one of my favorite things about the Zhang Kui design in Smite was that he could actually just capture all of these demons and game all the protections and then use his ultimate to do it. And you'll kind of see here that this is the first pass of actually updating the text. So when units actually are dying, you will actually see the text get updated. So now it'll say, okay, now it'll deal 2 damage. So you never actually have to do the mental math yourself. It'll just naturally update.
Okay, and this is a target anything, correct?
Yep, this can hit face, this can hit units,
friendlies,
this can hit friendlies, you name it. So a couple of interactions to kind of go over here is this is not linked to a specific Zhang Kui. So if you play one Zhang Kui and that Zhang Kui dies, and you play another Zhang Kui,
and you've still got the
so
old
we'll see
Demon
it
Bag.
right here. So obviously it goes up to 3 damage. Now let's go ahead and kill Zhang Kui, who's out there. And we kill Zhang Kui, so no longer does it get updated. And now when we play a new Zhang Kui, we'll get another Demon Bag in there. Now they don't have the same damage on them. And then if we add, and as soon as we kill another unit, we'll see that both of them are getting updated. So it's not linked to a specific Zhang Kui. It's just saying if a Zhang Kui that is a friendly is in play, you get it.
So double Zhang.
Yep. Double Zhonger is the word.
That's it for new cards. A little bit of love to the Chinese Pantheon. Obviously, still want to expand mine.
For sure.
It's the smallest card base right now. I mean, obviously, we just released it.
The 2 smallest card base, and I've been pretty open with this as a whole, is we have Mayan, which is the brand new Pantheon that we need to consistently add cards, but the one that's the next lowest was actually the Chinese Pantheon. Now, obviously, they've had a humongous run in the competitive scene with being strong, but we've made adjustments to it, so now it's time to get them up to speed.
The 50 Crescent Blades in hand, Nuaz, no more. And I'm a big fan of that, actually.
Yeah.
So let's go over the balance changes. So first up, just a few bug fixes. Awilix fixed an issue where Awilix's shield would not prevent Cabrakan from killing her when played.
Yep. So that was basically if Cabrakan was next to your stone and you played Awilix, he would just smash and kill him. And it's not how it's supposed to be.
Nope. Deicide, fix an issue where Deicide would not kill Awilix while her passive was up.
Also a weird one. Also didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, because that's not damage. That's just a
it's not
kill
damage. It's a remove. But yeah.
And then Poseidon fixed a bug where if you played Poseidon after using your leader ability, the ability would not properly reset.
So this is kind of like a buff to Poseidon as well in its own little weird way, because that now this is saying like I can buff an Apollo and then in the same term I can play Poseidon and then I can use my leader ability. Which is the Kraken. So you can use your leader ability before playing him, so you can play him a little bit later on.
More options to play around with him, basically.
For sure. Yeah.
Up next here, we've got AMC is getting an upward adjustment. So his attack is increasing from 3 to 5.
Yeah, AMC was, we were really worried about how strong the Hives would be. And so we went through a lot of different iterations inside of the development. And then we got it down to 2 health. And now everyone was kind of just like, we're not so sure about the Hives. And a 3/3 body for 5 mana is just not worth it. So we're bringing his attack up, and the reason we decided the attack is because, well, the Mayan Pantheon's cool if the things die. So
fair enough. That's exactly right. I also like the reversed Medusa from the 3/5 stat line. I'm a big fan of that one.
That's also a good one.
Chao Feng here, big body. He's been getting the eye.
Where's old
from everyone?
I forget. I don't know how to say the community guy's name. It's like Beazle. Beazle.
He's hating us right now.
Whatever your name is, bud. We had a long talk inside of Discord, and I appreciate it. So he was kind of like, there's a couple different options you could have here. You could bring down Fan Wei into 4 mana, or you could just nerf the health down. And really the issue with Chao Feng was that the best way to play around Chao Feng on 4 mana was that you play your own Chao Feng of 4 mana in the same lane. And that's just not a spot that I ever want to be in design, so we wanted to just bring him down so you could get rid of him with removal, as well as more 3 or 4 drops that are ranged.
So his health has gone down from 4 to 3, a little bit more easy to deal with.
Yep.
Up next is a slew of Norse changes here. Lots of touches to Norse here.
It's very important to note, really fast, that Norse didn't have a single losing ratio versus any other Pantheon inside of the game in any playlist, period.
needed
and when I say
here.
not a losing, I'm talking like over 58%. So it was needed adjustments.
And a lot of this is just kind of hits onto their ability to get direct damage onto the stone without any counterplay possible.
For sure.
First up is Freya. Just pretty simple. Warcry can no longer target the enemy summoning stone.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't kill it and it didn't get banished. I don't know.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that Adonis was like, well, you can't banish the
That's what I'm
stone, so
saying.
why can you target it? And I was like, well, you know, you're not wrong. It's hard to be wrong when you're right.
Wow.
I know.
You
Science.
just blew my mind.
I know it.
Gift of Moonin. Also, this is getting a change here. No longer hits summoning stone, so only usable on units.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of those ones that kind of slept through the cracks for us because you have Gungnir's Might, you have 2 backstabs, you have a bunch of direct damage, you have a leader ability that can instantly hit, and you have Thor. So it's kind of like, well, they don't need another one that hits face.
Thor, speaking of that, Thor passive no longer counts enemy summoning stones.
This is huge.
Yes.
This was a massive change, and as soon as we made the change happen in dev, we saw an immediate difference while playing them. So, you know, before you would play Thor, he has charge, he goes forward, he's doing 3 damage. Now he's only doing 2. But now when you're attacking into him, you don't have to worry about taking 4 damage. So your units that are 4, 5, 6 drops aren't going to actually just trade with him.
And then the final hit to the Norse Pantheon and the final balance change is Hell. And this is just reducing her health down from 5 to 4.
Yeah, so this one I kind of took a full sweep through all of Discord, and I said, okay, what does everyone want to see here? Some people were saying, you know, let's touch the passive, let's go ahead and change her mana cost, let's bring her down, let's do a complete rework, and I was like, well, we're not doing any of that. We're not doing a rework or anything along those lines, but the one that it seemed like most people were excited about were, if we can get her off the board a little bit easier, then this is going to be easier for us to deal with. So everyone was kind of like, if you bring her down to 4 health and then we reevaluate in a future patch, I think this is the best way of doing it so we don't just kill the Pantheon.
Yep, and that's it for this patch. Nice and simple.
Yep.
Before we go, though, anything Hindu related you want to spoil?
Yeah, so coming up on Friday. So we were originally going to do it here. I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm chewing on cough drop, so I apologize for that. But so Friday, we're going to be doing a dev Q&A. It's going to be myself, Adonis, maybe Austin. I'm actually not sure if he's going to do it or not. But we're going to be showing off some of the Pantheon cards inside of Hindu, talking a little bit about their design. You guys all know it's going to be kind of control-centric, so we're going to show that off. But if you guys have any questions for me or the rest of the dev team, please feel free to send them to me on Twitter or inside the Discord, inside the Ask Gandhi channel, and we'll be answering all of them on Friday.
You can also shoot messages over to the Play HOTG Twitter as well. We'll be gathering all that feedback or all those questions, and also we'll obviously take live questions for that developer Q&A on Friday. I believe it's 3 p.m. we have
something like that.
We'll get the full details out to you guys very quickly here, and that's going to be it for us. Reminder: Venus Pack still on sale, 25% off. You get all the stuff on the screen.
Some say it's only going to be
cards.
on sale for a little bit of time.
Is it? No one told me.
I'm just saying some say it. I'm
okay.
not sure.
You just someone's saying it at least.
It's a sale, right? So
thank you guys so much for joining us. Quick reminder, you can sign up for the Hand of the God weekly tournaments. Registration for 19 is now open. You can check our Twitter. The links are going to be there. We always get a fair number of players. And then we also have the High Res Expo 50K Founders tournament. That's going to be early January next year. Multiple ways to qualify. We're very close to releasing as many details as possible about that. So stay tuned to all our social media.
Also, if you bug him enough, he'll probably leak the majority of how you can qualify for the 50K event, just because that's Adonis. He always spoils.
I am spoiler, man. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Stay tuned. We've got a Comcast employee up next here streaming live on Hand of the Gods Twitch.